Hey, you guys. It's Michael B. It's Monday. You know what that means. It's time for another chill and chat with Michael B. There's so much added in there now. It's like I'm a professional. Anyways, welcome to the 18th or 19th best home arcade podcast show in this space. It's Michael B. I said that already. Anyways, tonight we've got a fun show. I'm bringing back my buddy Phil the Thrill, PD7, because we have some unfinished business after the last stream we did. I thought about something after the fact. I said, yeah, go get these deals and go get these cabs because they might not be available in stores much longer. But what about the people out there waiting for deluxe cabs on certain re-releases of cabs that came out right from the beginning? What if you want a Final Fight cab? Do you think there'll ever be a Final Fight Deluxe cab? Well, we're going to talk about it tonight, give people some information, kind of like we did in that last show, on whether or not you should pick up something before it goes out of stock in the stores. Or if you're looking at something and you want to buy something secondhand, maybe that's your only option to get it. Anyways, this should be a fun show. I've gone too long already with the intro. This is Chill and Chat with Michael B. PD7, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
You got your notepad and your questions ready?
I got multiple screens up, so
multiple screens.
Questions are upstairs and multiple Arcade1Up deals going on. It's funny how Wayfair just like fluctuates pricing.
Oh yeah,
it was so much better earlier today, and yeah, now
I saw something about NBA Jam going on sale, the NBA Jam Deluxe Cab. I can't remember what else it was too. We don't really get the Wayfair deals here in Canada. Like you guys get it, and it's like, oh man, awesome, 70% off. If you go on Wayfair.ca and you look up a cab like Atari 50th, how much do you think that costs on Wayfair.ca? In fact, I'm going to bring it up just to show you because I want to see the look on your face when you see this.
I do have a price in my head, and I'll be honest if it's under what you're going to show me.
Okay. Leo gets. Let me tell you about the drive-thru.
They screw you.
Well, I was going to use a different word. All right. You ready for this? Okay, your guess before I bring it up.
$7.99.
$7.99 Canadian, right? Mm-hmm. That's your guess?
Yes.
Correct answer is $1,396.88. So Wayfair is never a reputable source for us to go to find arcade deals here in Canada.
Oh my gosh.
$1,396.88.
Charlie Chuck was closer with the 14,000.
Well, yeah. Wayfair is kind of a scam here in Newfoundland. There's also something to watch out for too, guys. Where am I on? Why is this? Something to watch out for right now too online. People are showing a lot of deals at Walmart for cabs. Walmart is Walmart, but you got to be careful because a lot of places like Best Buy, Walmart, they're a lot like Amazon now, and they're really becoming web marketplaces that don't just sell their own products, but they also sell third party. So there is some scam stuff on Walmart. So always make sure when you go into Walmart, just because you see a deal on a cab, make sure you confirm who the seller is and if you feel comfortable buying from them. Don't just buy from them.
Now that you say it, looking for Tron, there is one site in Bass Store or something like that. Like, I don't know if they're legit or not, but every time somebody sells out on a cab, these guys magically get it, and it's weird. Ambassador, I think that's the site. I don't know.
Yeah, I always say be very careful. I don't know why. Like, there's nothing else. There's no site out there that has like Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom a week after release on sale for $2, and people are like, well, that's real. But for some reason, Arcade1Up is like the one product where then people are like, I'm going to set up a scam site, put these cabs up for $15, and people are going to believe it for some reason.
If it's too good to be true, it is
always
too good to be true.
Yeah, but, always.
Yeah.
All right. So anyways, Phil, the reason I had you here was because a couple of weeks ago we did that show talking about bargain hunting and stuff like that. Finding these cabs either on sale or before they go out. I know that there's one particular cab you might want to talk about before we really get into this. One you're looking at or have been looking at recently. It's one of my favorite Arcade1Ups. There is some problems with the joysticks, but you're currently looking for a Tron right now, huh?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ki Pro. Like
No,
when
no,
you-
no,
the
no.
joysticks. I've heard some horror stories about the sticks on the Ki Pro.
Oh, I can tell you about that, yeah. But
Do you have this? Okay, let's stick with Tron.
Tron.
So the funny thing is I found a Tron recently on Marketplace, and the guy had the screen on the top. Is that the S panel? Is that what you would call that? Did you do that mod on yours?
No, I didn't do that mod on mine.
So it had that mod, and it had not only lit coin doors, but the blue lit coin doors. Like, it looked awesome. $500. Says he turned it on like a handful of times. Came with a stool. My buddy Skids, which everyone knows Skids in the community, actually picked it up yesterday, and he sent me a picture of it. So congratulations, Skids, on picking that up. I'm still looking for one. Found one in Minnesota. I don't know if I want to do the drive right now. That's a haul, Mike.
That's the tough one. So the cool thing is, I don't know about Tron. Tron is one of those, we'll come to it later. Tron surprised Arcade1Up. Tron is a title they paid Disney for. I mean, it was probably a very expensive title. So that may lay into the fact that it may come out with a deluxe title in the future. So there is a probability on Tron. That's what I will say.
Saying there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a chance. I'm saying there's a chance.
But you hear that, Stock Jock? There's a chance, okay?
I regret selling my Tron. Like, the only reason I ever sold my Tron was the fact that I had this opportunity to buy a real one, and I should have waited because I had the real one for about, I think it was 4 weeks before I just ran into problem after problem, and the guy who sold it to me said, I don't like selling my stuff in this shape. Usually when I sell something, it's ready to go. This one wasn't, so I want you to, give it back to me, sell it back to me. So we ended up doing that, but it was too late. I had already sold my Tron. So I've been keeping my eye open. There's no more here at retail in Canada, but if one pops up secondhand, I think I'd be interested in getting a Tron.
It'd be weird if let's say I picked one up and then a deluxe, dare I say an XL came out. Like, I think you'd have to upgrade. There's a trick to that. I don't know.
So I don't do the big shout outs at the beginning of the show because I'm trying to get that along. I know my buddy 19K Fox does. In case anybody missed 19K Fox's show last night, let me just do a quick rundown of his show. Unico good, John D good, Arcade1Up bad. Tune in next week for my recap. I love 19K Fox. That's all I've been saying to him. But the reason I brought that up is because Paul's here. And I noticed Paul's a really positive Arcade1Up guy himself. And even Paul's like, what the hell is this company doing lately? So I think a lot of people are just getting impatient now, waiting for something new and something exciting to come out from Arcade1Up. Hopefully June, they come to the dance with some stuff.
I think they're doing exactly what they wanted to happen, and that's getting us to buy cabs that have been sitting around. I think this is their play.
Yeah.
We're building up a full, like, I'm talking myself in all these other cabinets because we don't have a new release, and you're seeing Best Buy went from 4 pages to 2 pages on their site. So cabs are selling.
1000% Gorf. 1000% Mystery Encoder. Gorf all the way. JR wants Zaxxon, so we'll see that. What other flight stick games could you have on it with that screen?
Afterburner. It's possible. I think you'd have a better chance for that than Sega Star Wars. What do you think?
Sega Star Wars. Anyways, that's a different show altogether. Carlo, Arcade1Up needs to give us free Costco memberships. Fun fact, I actually did bring this up to Cyrus when I was still doing the show that they were doing Arcade1 Update, and I said there's a barrier to entry people feel about buying your XLs from Costco, and he said, well, you can buy them online without a membership. I didn't know this. So right. I think you pay a little bit more. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to have a membership. You just buy it online.
Good call on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I joined Costco just for Pac-Man XL. As soon as P-Dubs broke the news, we got a memberships that week.
All right, so here we go. Let's go back because, Phil, I think you never got in this till a little bit later. Your first cab again, what was it? Remind me, what got you in?
X-Men and just
X-Men.
Golden Tee 3D XL was my second. Like think about that. That's crazy.
Oh yeah. So for those of us that have been buying these stuff like right from the very beginning, all that stuff, we've seen a lot of iterations of these cabs. Cabs have come out, especially in the early days when these things didn't come with risers. You had to buy them, then you had to buy a riser, and then if you were stupid in Newfoundland like I was, you bought your Street Fighter. Then you didn't buy a riser for it until like 2 years later. Then you paid $180 to have one shipped to you. So anyways, right back to the very beginning, they came out with a first few cabs from Arcade1Up. We got, obviously, Centipede, Asteroids, Street Fighter 2, Rampage, Pac-Man, and Galaga. So that was the first wave of Arcade1Up cabs. They all came, I think it was like $2.99, and there was no rise or anything like that. So those cabs
light-up
came
marquee. There was just like
nothing, no deck protector. They were
Right.
left. Do you? I don't know if you remember that part. That was the big knock on Arcade1Up when they first came out. Why everybody said they were junk, because they were leaving these things in Costco's and people were playing like Street Fighter, and like a week later somebody could go back to look at it and the deck was just completely rubbed off. All the shit was gone from the cabinet. So anyways, going back to that wave, you'll notice I mentioned a few cabs that have seen some future iterations there. So I want to go back to that first wave. We can already identify that obviously they've made a couple more Pac-Mans since then.
just a few.
Just a few. They've made a couple more Galagas. In fact, we got one from the vault last year, which you want to talk about the vault stuff
vault.
at some point. We've also seen a couple more Street Fighters. They've done a couple of those. What else is it? Asteroids is a weird one. They've done a couple Asteroids, but it was all within the same period, because they did Asteroids and then they did like an Asteroids Deluxe that was sold through Costco that came with a little stool. I don't know if it had a light up marquee at the time. But Asteroids is one that we only really got one issue of, one iteration. It never came out with a later cab.
Except on a party, like if you're going to say partycade.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we got, well, let's stick to the 3/4 scale, right? That's where we're going to go with this. And then the other one was Rampage. So the only two from that wave that never really got reiterations were Asteroids and Rampage. So for people out there that are very passionate about those games, how likely is it that we would get a return of Rampage or Asteroids in the deluxe form factor? Or should people who want those specific cabinets maybe try to see if they can pick these up secondhand? What do you think?
I think, especially Rampage, pick it up secondhand, unless you want to play it on a Mortal Kombat cabinet.
Yeah.
Unless 19K Fox did a great mod with that 3-player control deck using a 4-player. Like, we're not going to get that. Like, you're going to get the burger time, like left to right, and 3 controls in that.
I just don't think they're ever going to do it. I don't know how successful Rampage was as a seller, but they had a lot of problems with Rampage. I feel bad for it. Like, do you remember they also, when they put out the deck protectors, this is old, when they put out the deck protectors, they also realized that they had sent out 2 versions of the deck. So half the people that got those deck protectors, when they sent out the replacement deck protectors, the decks didn't line up with the deck protectors, so they had to order a special one because they actually had 2 different cuts. So, Rampage, it's a weird one. I don't think they'll do another one. But there's a small hope, because here's the hope with it. With the way that the retailers work, if you can tell them something that they'll remember, something that they'll talk about or have some history with, Rampage is likely, because it was a popular console game, and they did do that movie a couple years ago. So there's a tiny chance they might do another Rampage. Very small.
And the fact that it's a rehash, I can see it. It's possible.
But very slim. Very, very, very slim. Asteroids, on the other hand, I think Asteroids is going to happen. Maybe even this year. I think that may be the next Atari Deluxe cab they put out.
kind of a redemption for the Atari 50, would you say?
No, it's just because the Atari 50th is already an Asteroids cab, so they just have to
Yeah.
reskin it.
Oh yeah.
It's the form factor of Asteroids. So I asked Arcade One Up when it came out. I was like, "What's the chances that we'll get a reskin of the Atari 50th cab?" And their response was, "Well, it depends on how Atari 50th sells." So we'll have to see. But I think very likely going back to Wave One, Rampage, not likely, small chance. Asteroids, I think, is very highly likely that we'll get another version of Asteroids. Usman Amusements, your best guess, $1.99. Which cab will be the next XL? I don't know. Golden Tee.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Golden Tee. I want to say Ms. Pac-Man, but something's telling me Golden Tee.
Yeah, it's going to be Golden Tee. That's my guess. Thank you very much for the super chat, brother. So we go from there. Obviously, it's not going to be Rampage, probably Asteroids. That's the most likely. Then Wave 2. Wave 2, we got Final Fight, Mortal Kombat 2, Golden Tee, and was there anything else in Wave 2?
We kind of skipped Marvel. Did we mention Marvel superheroes in Wave 1? See,
Ah, that was Wave 3. Wave 3.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
Yeah. So
Final Fight skin cab. I mean, that'd be interesting. You know?
Final Fight, in my opinion, one of the best cabs they ever made. It was supposed to come out during Wave 1 of Arcade1Up, but the retailers got cold feet. They didn't think it was going to be successful enough. So they waited till Wave 2. It came out, and it didn't do very well. The retailers might have been right on this, because this is one of the first cabs that was like clearanced out at $50. And Space Invaders, there you go, Bobby ALU. That was one of the most important ones. So Space Invaders,
Right.
Final Fight, Golden Tee, and Mortal Kombat 2. So obviously we've seen lots of Mortal Kombat 2s. Mortal Kombat's a safe bet.
You know, I'm afraid of a Golden Tee is if they pull a fast one on us and they make it a deluxe. Could you imagine?
That's what Cornercade wants. More
I
than anything
know.
else.
Maybe that's where I got it from. Yep.
Yeah.
Corner K wants a tough question. Here's my tough question, okay? If knowing what you know now, if you could go back in time, which arcades from the original Genie arcade would you have kept?
Centipede, because they're never going to make another vertical screen Centipede game. Final Fight, because I love it, and they're not going to make a deluxe Final Fight. That we were going to talk about that in just a second. Final Fight. A lot. Tron.
I wanted you to
100%
say
Tron.
Tron. Like the reason I thought I wanted you to say Tron. I know it's like you could probably name all of them. I mean,
No,
You
there's
had
some. There's some I'm good. Corner Kate says Outrun. I thought Outrun was really cool and stuff like that, but I don't really miss it. I didn't really find those cabs comfortable to play. I've talked about this. Like, really liked them. I thought it was really cool, but just the driving stuff just didn't work with me for Arcade1Up. I love the idea of the driving. I just wish that it was either comfortable and sensible to sit down at, or comfortable to stand up at.
there was a lower screen on Outrun and Ridge Racer.
Yeah. And even Dragon's Lair. I think Dragon's Lair is one of the nicest, most beautiful cabs they ever made. I'm looking at deals on it, but man, that screen was so low. That's the only thing I don't like about it.
That's what I was going to ask. How low is that control deck compared to like your Pac-Man XL? Like, is it way lower than that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So you're going to need a buy stuff riser booster.
Yeah, something like
Definitely.
that. So, Final Fight didn't sell well. Beautiful cab. One of the nicest looking cabs they've ever made. Like, I could see that 100% in an HS5 Dynamo. I think it would be amazing. I don't think that's possible that's going to be re-released. I think a really good indication of why we'll never see another Final Fight cab is Alien versus Predator, because I think they thought there was room for two Capcom cabs, one more of a fighting cab, one more of a, beat 'em up shooter cab, but they needed something retailers would buy, something that tied in, that fans might be interested in, something that's more mainstream. That's why they went the direction of Alien versus Predator. That and John D really wanted to do a solid for 19K Fox.
And they would have came up with the three controllers. Like, do you think that if it would have came through that?
If it came out with the 3 controllers, the games list would have to be predominantly 3-player games. So like
That would have changed everything. And
yeah.
then we could have all played games like Final Fight. Well, was Final Fight a 3-player? I'm thinking of Knights of the Round,
Yeah.
King of Dragons, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We just played that. If we could play, was Cadillacs and Dinosaurs a 3-player game? Like,
Yeah.
I think
that one's a bit tough because that's a licensed game.
Okay.
Yeah. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, not a lot of people remember this, or maybe a lot of people do, but that had like a comic and some kind of show or something like that. So that's where it gets a little bit difficult. It's not just like a, Capcom license. And also the Cadillac license, right?
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, there's that. Here's where it gets interesting. Obviously, Golden Tee and Mortal Kombat, they're pretty safe. What about Space Invaders? Is that a cab you think people would like a really well-done Space Invaders? Just like Quarter Arcade released their awesome little Space Invaders cab, all the time and effort they put into the, making sure everything worked the way it should.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Space Invaders would be a successful title and, a Taito legacy cab? There's no more legacy cabs anymore, but, Taito cab come out? Is that something people would want?
If they don't have the IRK Gold, and they don't have think about Evil Genius Gaming. He modded his original. Like, have you seen that? Like, it looks incredible.
No, I haven't seen that one. No.
I think it looks better than the gold edition iArcade. It depends if you have that or not. Like, that's the iArcade, like keeping that just for Space Invaders. Like, I'll struggle selling this thing. Like, it's a nostalgic look.
Yeah, it's special. And it's a very special version of Space Invaders because it was done by Michael Zverebeck. That was actually coded and made from scratch by Michael Zverebeck. So here's the thing, though. Space Invaders is another one that'll probably never come out again. Taito obviously works with other companies. They got really good relationship with At Games. They also really had a problem selling those cabs. At one point, they were selling those cabs for like $1 on Walmart.com. Yeah. You could buy a Space Invaders cab for $1, and it came with a free copy of Star Wars Battlefront as well.
Holy cow!
Yeah, so I think Space Invaders from Wave 2 is another one you're never going to see. So if you want a Space Invaders in your home arcade, you're either, like you said, maybe the iArcade will scratch the itch for you, or you're going to be buying an original or doing a mod like Evil Genius Entertainment did.
Yeah.
Disappointed yet?
Well, I didn't think of these titles. I didn't think of Asteroids. I didn't think of Space Invaders. We're so focused on the newer stuff that once you see it gone, like, you're wondering, like, is this going to come back again? I'm staring at the MK30th right now, knowing the TN monitor. Like, you can still get this on Amazon for $549. Like, is there any value in some of this? Like, do you think we'll see a reskinned? No, you had this one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I remember when 19K Fox got this, and him and B played Rampage forever.
Yeah,
and he got like 1 million points. Like, do you think we'll see another MK1?
No, it's impossible to say. I think it's more likely that you'll see another MK1 before you see an MK4.
I agree. So you hear that? If you guys don't have MK30th, it looks like 2 left on Amazon right now for $549.
Don't buy it. Like, unless you're super nostalgic for the look.
I think it's here's why I didn't go for Joust today. I was ready to buy it. It was $271 after everything.
Yeah.
And I remembered about the TN monitor. And I'm like, you know what? If it was $199, maybe I would have got it.
Yeah, because it's going to cost you about $100 to get that monitor swapped out anyways. Yeah. All right. So now moving on to Wave 3. Wave 3 is a bit more easy because we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We got Star Wars. So they're pretty safe bets to have more versions done again. We'll probably see a TMNT Deluxe. Hopefully a TMNT XL Star Wars. I don't know if we'll see a Deluxe right away because they just did that redo cab last year. I'm really hoping on the XL. That was the rumor they were going to do.
Can we go back to did you just say Turtles Deluxe?
Yeah.
And we're talking, I'm just saying, are we talking the Nickelodeon, like the last video you did, the Raw Thrills, or are we thinking the original, I'm trying, guys. I said I wouldn't do this to him.
No. It's fine to do that, right? I think Turtles is a safe property to bet on.
Kevin Clausen is debating opening his box right now, Turtles in Time. So this
Oh,
answer.
Kevin, I can't help you on that, man. I'm sorry, Kevin. I can't say for sure whether or not they're going to do a Turtles this year. They're, if you listen to all the rumors, there's rumors about Konami, whether or not they still have a working relationship with Konami, right? And that's a problem. Nickelodeon, I think they're good with, and it's a sexy property. Turtles is always a good property for the kids, mainstream, so it's one they're going to want to work on. The relationship with Raw Thrills may, entice them to go in a different direction if it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, their hardware is still not upgraded, so, I mean, Raw Thrills would have to pull some movie magic the same way they did with the port of Fast and the Furious over, and I don't even know if that's possible. That. But,
well,
yeah.
I just want to say I wouldn't consider Turtles Konami anymore. I would say it's totally Nickelodeon. I think there's a difference right now between Turtles, Simpsons, and X-Men.
Maybe, but I still think Konami's got to get paid there somehow. I don't think Nickelodeon owns the game, right?
Right, but there's a leeway. They did that newer Countercade less than a year ago.
That's true.
Kind of gives something away.
I'm going to yell at Mike B if he says the hardware is too weak to run it. I'm sorry, Mystery Encoder. Not emulation. It'd be downscaled a bit like Fast and Furious. Yes, exactly. They could do it. That's what I think. You're 100% right, Mystery Encoder. $2 super chat, Kevin Clausen. Help me, Mike. Mine is sitting in a box right now. Oh, you're putting me on the spot here, Kevin. I think it's very possible they could release another one. It makes a lot of sense, but is it something they're going to release this year? Like, if you don't mind waiting like a year, 2 years, if everything is still good. Cornercade, I don't know shit. Why do you say this? He knows. I don't.
So, Kevin, open it now, and then you and I will worry about selling ours for a deluxe later on. Let's do that. Then we can play online together.
I've never got a chance to play Turtles online, ever. So
that's why I wanted to get this. Like, it was all about playing it online. You and I had a blast playing Cane of Dragons the other day.
Oh yeah.
It's just changes everything.
That's my favorite, right? So anyways, Turtles, very probable. Star Wars, very probable. Here's where it gets interesting. Marvel superheroes you asked about.
I thought that they could pull a fast one and give us why not? I know the Punisher, I know the whole thing. Like I heard it. But things are different now that John D's not there. What if they just do the same 3 games in a deluxe form factor? Yes, we could reskin it like Fox said. We could do all that. But if they just came out, did the work for us, $4.99, we could buy those 3 games on a deluxe.
I got a different thought. I don't think it'll be exactly that cab. I think that cab is done. John D was pretty adamant about it that they're never going to do Punisher again, right? Never going to do Punisher again. So that's not going to be there. Any cab that they do right now is going to have Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, all those games. Here's my pitch on this. I think Marvel Superheroes is 100% possible. Not that it's going to be the exact same game. Don't take it that way. I'm talking about the cab itself and the design. Mm-hmm. And honestly, of all the Marvel cabs, that one's the nicest looking. I mean, that control deck with all the, actual comic book art and stuff like that. The marquee looks great. That's one of their nicest looking cabs they've ever done. So, say, for example, Arcade1Up sells X-Men 97, and then they say, we're going to do a reskin. Or we're going to do another version of it, use the same PCB, just change around things, and we're going to brand it as Marvel Superheroes. All over it. 100%, I would be all over it. I don't know where it comes in with Marvel versus Capcom, but they just did a Marvel versus Capcom that was X-Men 97, so there should be no reason they can't do a Marvel Superheroes one. But you think about that awesome marquee actually lit up, because mine was never lit up. I didn't get the special one. Then that control panel, that bezel, the look of the cab, the little sticker on the side of Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet on an HS5, and I'm all in on that one. So I think that's the direction to go in. This would be rebranded X-Men 97 would be Marvel superheroes. I think they could do it.
I think there's a way they could still put Punisher on. Here's why I say this. Because this countercade right behind me,
Yep.
I bought it at Target in December. These aren't the countercades that were sitting around from 2021. If you look at that box, it says 2022 on the back. They reproduced these countercades.
Yeah.
I know what he said. There's a chance. There's always a chance they could make money on it. Like, Disney needs to make money. Arcade1Up needs to make money. They could give us the possibility of giving us Punisher. That'd be, even if it wasn't online, like just to give us that game where we could play 2 players, that'd be huge.
Punisher's so good. I miss Punisher so much. Like that was the majority of what I played on that Marvel superheroes cab. It sucks. Sucks. Yeah.
There's the limited edition on eBay right now for like $6.99, maybe $7.90. I mean, it's expensive, but in the box, like you almost want to buy it just to have that, like to take it out for the first time. Like the Marvel superheroes, Punisher's on there. They're hard to find, you know.
Maybe Punisher, especially when here's an interesting one if they could pull it off. When Punisher comes out, the new Disney show that's coming out. 19K Fox, I can't bring that up. So when the new Punisher Marvel Netflix series comes up, there's a chance maybe that they could do either bring back Punisher, or maybe that Alien versus Predator cab that never got off the ground. Maybe Punisher could be the key game on that, the key art, because you got to think about it. Punisher was a big blue. I don't know if you ever seen our buddy Enrique, but he had like the big blue Punisher, I think, if I'm not mistaken, real one, and it was like incredible. So I would love to see,
That'd be awesome.
Full-on release of Punisher.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I just went to the arcade. Danny's been there. And I actually played through the whole thing. Even though I have it on an Arcade1Up, I played. It's that good. Like, you just stop what you're doing, play through the game.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the best.
Yeah. I love Punisher. Love Punisher. And I always wondered, like, I see the new G.I. Joe beat 'em up coming out soon, and I'm really super excited about it. And I always wonder, how do you get that, like, the gunplay in a beat 'em up? Like, it always made me feel kind of weird. Like, it's fine for, like, the bad guys sometimes to have guns and stuff like that, but I was like, how do you control the gunplay? And it was the first time I played Punisher where I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Like, I'm really enjoying how this works with the gunplay and stuff. So yeah, it makes me feel a little bit more confident about the G.I. Joe beat 'em up that I'm really excited about.
You got me thinking that one too. Since you brought that G.I. Joe up, like that'd be a fun game to play when it comes out.
I always push too. There's a G.I. Joe arcade game from Konami back in, when did it come out? 94? 93? Yeah. Anyways, it's this like on rails shooter.
Yeah, you're going forward. Yeah,
love it.
Fun game. I play that on the Terminator 2 cab. Like, it's crazy. Like, we're playing G.I. Joe on Terminator 2.
G.I. Joe or G.I. Joel. And listen, Cornercade, you son of a bitch. Let me go back and reference this because other people called me out on this too. I don't want to tell Kevin not to open his TMNT, Turtles in Time, because I'm 100% sure there's a deluxe coming if I don't know. If Kevin doesn't open that and sends it back and then there's no TMNT, that's the hard spot. I'd feel like shit. I'm pretty confident they're going to do a Turtles Deluxe, but I don't know.
If Arcade1Up was smart, they'd do a Turtles Deluxe.
Well, it only makes sense. That's one of the easy titles to do, but I mean, it depends on how well Turtles in Time sold last time.
Well, it's sold out. Like, that's the thing. It's X-Men didn't sell out. Simpsons didn't sell out. Like, Simpsons, I got Simpsons for $1.99. There's still Simpsons out there.
I said not 100% sure. You guys. That wasn't so good. They call those the slaughter episodes, actually, those new ones.
Decadent Dave goes, but they aren't smart.
No. All right, so after that, this is where everything gets wild open because the releases were kind of small in that period. But after that, this is where all hell broke loose and everything went out the window and they just started releasing stuff like crazy. They had those big years right in the height of pandemic after they had blown up and sold those millions of units. So here's where we go, and here's where it's interesting. This is where it's kind of hard for me to just start rhyming off every single cab. Instead of that, you start telling me, Phil, cabs from, around that time period and stuff like that, the ones that came out that you'd be interested in getting that might still be available. I know one that you did pick up was Golden Axe. So that was around that time period. Frogger, all that stuff. Let's start going through them.
Well, if you're starting with Golden Axe, you have the NBA Jam, and that was the whole thing of NBA Jam had online, Golden Axe didn't. And then I always said, like, at that point is when I was familiar with Arcade1Up. I saw them at Walmart. I said, if they make an X-Men, I'm getting it. And then X-Men comes out, Simpsons, Turtles in Time, and those cabinets, all except Turtles in Time, are all available right now. Yeah. And it's just out of those, like, do you think, I'm kind of going a different direction, but do you think there's a deluxe coming for X-Men? I don't. And I think that if you want X-Men, you just go out and get it now for $4.99. Like, there's cabinets, like we've been talking about, that we just go out, pick them up now, because once they sell out, I don't think they're coming back.
Yeah, so Golden Axe, one and done. That was a direct-to-consumer sale. Eventually, some ended up in retail. I just don't think they didn't have interest in picking it up then. The reason to do direct-to-consumer would be to show consumers that there is sale interest. I don't think there'll be another Golden Axe. I think that was it, one and done. So that's an easy one.
And the fact that Golden Axe is still in stock right now, like, that tells you something too.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, there's a better chance we see a Turtles than a Golden Axe just because of that.
And I love Golden Axe. Like, I'm praying for them to make, like, another version. Of course, I want an XL or Deluxe for people. That's a 2-player Golden Axe. I think that would do a lot better. Like, I understand doing the 4-player for authenticity with Revenge of Death Adder, and that being, a really hard arcade to get here in the U.S., but do the original Golden Axe 2-player. I think they would have had a lot of interest in that. Then if you can add online to it, oh man, that'd be so good.
I just played through Death Adder last night.
I love it.
The whole time I played it, and I went from controller to controller because I was just trying to get a feel, get all the characters involved. And I kept thinking, if this was online, this would probably be the best cabinet.
Yeah. JR says they did a second run for Golden Axe. That's why it's still for sale. I wouldn't doubt that, but I don't think it was a very big, like, it wasn't like they rushed to do the second lot.
I mean, it's close to selling out, guys. I mean, it's not going to stick around forever. I'm just saying that it's still there right now.
And JR might know more than I, but sometimes when Arcade1Up does a second run, those are found old stock. So it's not exactly a second run so much as found old stock. So Golden Axe is a no. X-Men hurts. X-Men's a no. X-Men didn't sell as well as they thought. Same with Simpsons. Those are big licenses they spent a lot of money on, and more than likely wanted to amortize the license over a number of cabs. It's just I don't think they can do a risk. Like Simpsons really didn't do what they thought. So
no. What did you think when you had Simpsons? What did you think of it?
I really liked it. Online was problematic. Like, if I would start a game and I would have any issues with my online, it would just kick me out of my game. Like, if someone tried to join or my online just blipped, gone. Game over.
That's how Turtles in Time was for me. And that's why I sold that one only to buy it for the second time. And that's the thing, is you and I have bought the same cabinets twice.
Oh, yeah. I bought 2 twice. I bought not re-releases. I mean the exact same cabinet.
Right.
Like NBA Jam, the original NBA Jam I bought twice, and now T2 I bought twice. So.
I remember when you had NBA Jam and Shaq Jam both in the overflow room.
So going on from there, those 4-player cabs, unfortunately, not going to happen again. There was talk of Frogger becoming a Konami legacy cab at one point, and Frogger would be the main title. And John D said they had worked it out with Sega to get the original art, so they could do that. How likely is that? I don't know. It depends on if they still have a relationship with Konami. If you listen to all the buzz, They don't have a relationship with Konami, so I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think Frogger is an awesome title. They're never going to get the music right, so people are going to be unhappy with that. But I love that cab. I was disappointed by the Vaseline filter, the Force Vaseline filter. If it wasn't for that, that would probably still be in my collection, even with the stupid art, the stupid music. I loved Frogger. Time Pilot 84, Time Pilot, and Frogger, all awesome. And then you can add with Konami a couple more vertical games like Contra and Super Contra. You can do some stuff there with that. So I would like to see it. I don't know how successful Frogger was, but
Well, it's an 80s look. Like, there's a place for that.
yeah,
It would look great next to Joust, next to Tron, Dragon's Lair.
yeah.
And it'd be a cheap license for them to get. Like, there's a lot of rehashes that are going to happen again because of that. They're not going to have to put any effort in. And that's why, going back to Punisher, that's why I wanted to see that happen.
I don't know what to say tonight, Mystery Encoder. I don't know. Between you and Ralphie, what do you know? I don't know. We're going over hypotheticals. I do have the crazy eyes. It's been a long friggin' day, guys.
And Mike told me it's a lot later where he is.
Yeah,
They have their own time zone. So
our own Newfoundland time zone. It starts at 10:30. So there's Frogger. What else do you want to talk about here? What else is there that interests you from this time period? Do you remember this exact time period? This is a little bit before your time, though, because you came in with X-Men, right?
I came in with X-Men. So I'm 2021. Are we in 2020 still?
This is the first year of the Legacy cabs. So this is the first year we got that Pac-Man Legacy, Tempest, I think. Am I in the right space? Yeah. Pac-Man, Tempest, and this is where stuff really started getting wild.
Well, Golden Axe came out in 2020, I think. And NBA Jam, didn't it?
No, NBA Jam came out like a whole year before Golden Axe. Golden Axe was announced at CES, but then it never came out for a while after that.
That had online. Right.
Yeah. So that was the first.
Carl saying Burger Time. So Burger Time was part of that.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about Burger Time. So the reason why Burger Time is front and center here is I love Burger Time. Love it. But Burger Time, they went to retailers last year and no dice. Nobody wanted it.
That was a deluxe or an XL, do you think?
Well, this is what everybody else is telling me. I mean, I don't know. Apparently, Travis was on Corner Cage Show and told everybody they were going to do a Burger Time Deluxe.
Oh.
I didn't know anything about it. But if they were going to do it, the only reason it never got done is because they went to retailers and the retailers said no dice.
Well, it's hard to imagine that because they already had it out once and it sells out. And then see, the thing is you have that whole Star Wars thing. The first Star Wars sells out, then they give us an improved look, light up coin doors, continued art, and that's $475 today on Wayfair. Like, that's what they don't want. Like, same with Golden Tee. Like, it took, when did it come out? 2022. It took 2.5 years for that to sell out. Finally sold out.
So I'll go back to Burger Time. I love Burger Time, even though it's got the stupidest control panel for Burger Time because you've got those diagonal gates, like the 8-way gates to accommodate Joe and Mac, and I think also Bad Dudes. So they had to put that in there, which makes friggin' Burger Time almost unplayable. One of the cool things about it was still super fun and beautiful, but it wasn't 100% arcade accurate. I always wanted it done more with more of that, Pac-Man body shape with the cutout a little bit more full compared to what we had. So the concept was, I guess they were going to do a deluxe. I'm with Charlie Chuck on this. I would love an XL of Burger Time. One of the most iconic arcades of all time. Very excited about Quarter Arcades doing it. But retail said no. And this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. This is not just a retail said no. This is one of those direct-to-consumers they did. One of the first big direct-to-consumer fails because they put it out. Mm-hmm. And still years after the fact, they didn't have them all sold. So they had to, ship some off to Canada to go to retail, ship some off other places. This was a gamble. They made 3,000 cabs, and they couldn't sell them all direct to consumers. So this is also one of the reasons why I think it'll be harder for this to come out in a deluxe form factor.
I'd probably pick it up. I'm just looking at the games list right now. Bad Dudes, Karate Champ. This would be a great cabinet to have.
It's burger time. It's beautiful.
I know. I'm staring at it right now. Like this is a rehash they should do.
Yeah, I think so.
And if it should be then an Arcade1Up Direct thing, something that we talked about before the stream. I learned that they're not giving free shipping for $5.99 or over. At a time I think they were. Get a cab like this, and we'll pay the shipping if you give us, a $5.99, $4.99 deluxe. They should just Arcade1Up should just have cabs like Killer Instinct Pro on their site.
But
well,
I feel like we've been over this, Phil.
I'm just saying, it's just we're going that way. Retailers say no. Arcade1Up, do your own thing. Like maybe that's what it will take.
It's very expensive to do that. They've reduced their size over the course of the last couple of years. They got rid of the warehouse spaces, all that stuff. They're not really set up to do direct to consumer right now. They live and breathe on the retailer. The one that does confuse me though is X-Men 97, because it seems like they're selling that direct to consumer through Amazon. So they're not selling it
doing
themselves.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's $100 cheaper than any other version of Marvel vs. Capcom before.
Do you think that's just for the pre-order? Do you think that if we wait till April 26th, it's going to be $5.99?
Yes, for a while until it doesn't sell, and then they'll put it on sale from time to time. I did find out here in Canada, it's going to be a little bit cheaper than the original. So the original Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is still available for sale here in Canada. And I think it's $7.99, but the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is going to be $6.79.
Wow.
The X-Men 97 version when it comes out here.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 should be cheaper. Like it's the older of the cabs. I mean, it's got a riser on it. Like I don't understand. Travis told me, I said it should be $4.99. He goes, well, the cab sells good. That's why it's $5.99. So.
No, it's not 100% that. They have a buyback clause. So what happens is that cab's out there at retail, and then if the retailer sells it at like say $3.99, then the retailer has some kind of claim for Arcade1Up to pay them back the difference between what their supposed amount they were supposed to get is compared to the amount they had to sell it. So a lot of these older cabs that are just sitting there, and you're like, why is it just sitting there? That's the reason. Because if they do sell it at a discount, there's a buyback clause, or I forget what it is, some kind of payback clause that the companies can get money back from Arcade1Up for having to sell it at a discounted price, not getting their return.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I get the response now.
Yeah.
Going back to Arcade1Up Direct, just because I saw a comment from Saiyan Spirits. Do you think it's possible we'll ever see a discounted KI Pro?
No. No.
There was a little bit of hope here. Like it's like I felt you coming with a different answer.
$2 super chat. Think of cabs that never got a light up marquee. We talked about them earlier, Stringer. We went right back to day one. Well, there's also Big Buck Hunter that'll never get a light up marquee, so we can talk about that one. That's definitely got a deluxe rehash. And that never got a light up marquee in the deluxe rehash. Thanks for the $2, brother.
If they did an XL, do you think it would have a light up marquee?
No.
And that's what kept me from buying it, because I just didn't want to mess with it. I didn't want to mess with it. Do you still have yours?
No. The guy who bought my T2, my original T2, after he bought my T2, because he was all over me about it. I didn't even put it up to sell. He was like, I know you're selling off some cabs. I want your T2. So I sold it to him. And then he saw that I got Buck Hunter, and he was like, I want your Buck Hunter. I was like, dude, I just got it. And I got like this really expensive marquee coming. And I was like, I'll tell you what, if I decide to sell it, I'll let you know. But I said, it's not going to be cheap. I just spent $400 on this marquee, right? So anyways, I got it with the Retro 530 marquee. And the Retro 530 marquee is amazing. This cab 100% should have had it. Of course, it's never going to have anything as good as the Retro 530 marquee. I think the problem with it is, it's just they couldn't figure out how to just cut out that Buck Hunter space in the middle and put the plastic in it for the light to shine through only that space. It was either they do a giant light up, all of it light up, or not. And I think that's the problem. Like, they just can't figure that out. How do we do a light up marquee with just that spot cut out? It's the dumbest thing in the world, but that's literally all they had to do is do the base, do like a clear piece of plexi or, you know, the logo plexi over that, and then have a light box behind it. That's all they would have to do. It doesn't have to be as good as Retro 530s, but they just need to get it to light up somehow, right?
Now, where'd you put your sign? Retro 530 sent you that.
It broke.
Oh, man.
No, the lights just died. Like, I had it up one day. I had it up behind me. I was like, yeah, and the lights died. So I got to figure out how to replace them. B had the same thing. I don't know if B's had lights. B ended up having to put his own lights in. So that's what I'm going to have to do as well. Anyways, yeah, Buck Hunter, incredible. Very happy with the updates they did, because the 100% the problem with that cab is way too short. That cab is about...
The deluxe was a lot higher.
Yeah. So that sucked. But then the deluxe came out and I was like, awesome. Except it doesn't have a light up marquee. So
I know.
Okay, Buck Hunter's gone. What else is on this list? What do we want to talk about?
Well, I want to just really quick about the vault. So they give us 4 deluxe. the vault special edition.
Yeah.
They give us 4 of them last year. One of them's a sports game.
Yeah.
What do you think if they get here's how they really screw you. What if they gave us an NBA Jam Deluxe, but instead of Tournament Edition, they go back to the NBA. All they do is change the marquee, and they throw on, this one sells out on Wayfair. They bring another one, the Deluxe, the special edition, buttons light up, coin door lights up. What do you think? 4 vault cabinets this year. One of them's NBA Jam again.
So, Phil, my buddy Jamie Loken wrote me beforehand. He said, so are you going to have Phil on the show again to really upset him about how they're not going to do anything? So this is the point where I do rip out your heart. We're going to have the Ralph Wiggum heart-ripping moment now. When I was doing Arcade1 Update with Arcade1Up, one of the things that came up, I asked a question because I said, okay, we got the Vault coming out, because it was, you look at the releases that were in the Vault, first one that came out that we saw from the Vault, was it Galaga? Was Galaga the first Vault cab?
The first Vault cab, I think it was Galaga, because Street Fighter 2 and Galaga both came out at $3.99. That was the deal.
Yeah, and Vault cab was the first, like, that was the first Vault cab. And then NBA Jam was a Vault cab. What else? You said we had 4.
Ms. Pac-Man Black and the Atari 50.
That's the one I asked. So I saw those and I said, okay, all that stuff makes sense. Then Atari 50th came out and it said from the Vault. So I'm sitting there in a meeting with Arcade1Up and with their marketing people, getting ready for the show. This was the last time I was allowed to talk to their marketing people, by the way. So I said, what does the Vault mean? Like, this is one of the questions I wanted to ask on the show. Like, what is the concept behind it? What's the idea? And if it's for bringing back these classic cabs from previous years, how does Atari 50th fit into that design? And their answer was, yeah, we don't really know what the Vault is. So your thought process about, like, oh, they must be doing all this stuff and they have all these plans, they don't have any plans.
Well, I thought that like a Tron and a Dragon Slayer Vault Edition would be a good idea.
You thought too much.
Well, it's, if you think about it, though, if they did bring those back as a deluxe,
yeah,
you bring it back as the Vault, you throw some extra lights on there, maybe even a Star Wars Deluxe. I think it sells. I think it's a good idea. I mean, I'm not saying bring out another NBA Jam, but I can see them just doing another Deluxe on an NBA Jam.
I don't think Atari 50th was the first one they announced as a Vault cab. It couldn't have been. Maybe NBA Jam
Maybe
was.
First we saw, because it was at the convention where Garage Gamer did the first coverage of it. And Cyrus and Travis were actually there.
Oh, that might have been Atari 50th then, actually.
Was that PAC? Is that what it was called?
Maybe I can't remember, but anyways, he
PAX,
might be right
PAX.
about that.
Yeah,
Might have been right about that. But I did ask that question: why? How does Atari 50th, a cab that? Yeah, so Richie Cab's Retrocade is that might be the correct answer. The vault is whatever you want the vault to be. So yeah. Anyways, I was not kind to Atari 50th. The marketing guy was like, "Yeah, but Atari wanted to do this," and I was like, "Oh yeah, well,
Well,
it's not
every
good."
year they do something, because when we first got the first deluxe,
Yeah,
we got that pamphlet, and that's when we found out about Fast and Furious.
yeah,
And then when we got one of the vault, we see all those other ones on the back. They're
yeah.
gonna do it again. Like, we're gonna get a cabinet. There's a deluxe that's gonna come out, and we're gonna see 4 more. That's their style. Whether it's a vault or just a deluxe, I just thought it'd be fun if they just did the vault every year.
Are the vault cabs considered a limited release in production numbers? Not that I'm aware of. Again, I think the vault was just yeah, marketing. Some idea they came up with to kind of make it like special reserve, like they did with Dragon's Lair, to kind of try to make it like an upper echelon. And I don't know. They didn't really have an answer for me. So, really quickly, I want to go over some other cabs that I just want people to understand. I don't think you're going to be able to get these in a deluxe form factor. I just don't. For the same reason, I think a lot of the other direct to consumers are going to be hard to get in a deluxe form factor. I don't think you're going to get to see a Dragon's Lair deluxe. I think Dragon's Lair is done. So if you want to get it, if you can get it at retail, get it. If not, secondhand. It's a little bit short, but that's it. Dragon's Lair, one and done. And in my opinion, one of the 3 best looking cabs they've made to date.
So if you could go back, you would have kept yours.
100%, 100%. I held on to it like grim death. I held on to Star Wars and Dragon's Lair like grim death and Burger Time. Those were the last 3 of my 3/4 I had.
So you sold X-Men before these, huh?
X-Men was the same thing. Someone reached out to me, really wanted it, right? I put up 5 cabs and I just started getting messages from people like, "Will you sell this? Will you sell that?" So,
Do you have any, really quick, do you have any more room in your current arcade to squeeze in another 1 or 2 more cabs?
I've been meaning to work on a video of that all weekend. I haven't got to it. I have my MK2 Deluxe getting here on Thursday, it looks like. And then I gotta put my Godzilla in and see how much space I got. But I think at that point, if I want to add a second pinball, that's it. That's all the space I got. But that doesn't mean something can't come out. I'm kind of done with Golden Tee XL. I'd be happy if they release a new XL so I can get rid of that.
You can't get rid of those XLs. You
I
have
can get rid of
all
Golden
the
Tee
XLs. Like,
I know.
the fact that you have the KI Pro,
Yeah.
makes me want to get it, because I saw it behind you. You switch things around. Like, that is one good looking cabinet.
It is. It's an amazing cabinet. It's
When you
too
had
expensive,
all
but it's
4
amazing.
behind you,
Yeah.
it's not about it's about if you can get it bigger. It's the look. Like, if I got Dragon Slayer, Mike, I'm not going to play it a lot. I want to just, it's there. Like, there's a presence of Dragon Slayer. There's a presence of Tron. Don't think that I'm going to like play the heck out of Tron. I just want to
You
have
should
it lit up.
though. Tron is
Well,
really
I'm just
good.
saying, like, it's the look too. Like, that's we're not getting the same. I have 3 Street Fighter 2 cabinets. Like,
you don't need that.
I know you don't, but you might need 2 of them. There's a reason you have Big Blue and the Deluxe, because Knights of the Round's on there. Like, there's Stalkers. Like, there's reasons.
Yeah.
But
So
the look is important.
I know I got to go because Multi-K Monday is starting in a couple minutes, and I want to get free for P-dubs. But really quickly, I with you. I'm all about the atmosphere as well, Phil. I have less space now, so I have to be more selective of the games. Otherwise, Golden Tee would just stay for the fact it's an XL. So I'm going to have to think about that. It's just I really don't like Golden Tee 3D anymore.
But I'm more about the atmosphere, Danny. Like, I'm just saying, like, I play the games, but it's the look too. Like, it's 50-50,
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, anyways, was there anything else? I don't know if there's anything else from more recent times. I think everything else is pretty safe. Like, we'll get deluxe form factor, deluxe versions. It's just some of these older ones, Rampage, Rampage, Final Fight, Space Invaders. those are ones you're definitely not going to get.
I
Anything that's
think
on the thumbnail, you're probably not going to get. I
I
want to
think
make
that
sure about that.
you should go on Marketplace daily and check. And if there's something you see
Yeah.
and you feel good about it, I think this is the time. I think you pick it up.
Yeah.
I think that's we can agree on that, right? That's the moral of the video. Like, if you don't think this is coming out as an XL or deluxe, pick it up. You see it on Marketplace.
Stock Jack knows, man. Dragon's Lair, like, honestly, a little short. Like, the screen is really low. It's got to be one of the lowest screens in any Arcade1Up cabinet. But, man, just from the atmosphere, that extra alphanumerical panel they put up there, there's no other way other than playing it on the Death Shit New Wave Toys version that you will get it as accurate as playing to the original arcade other than owning an original arcade.
Stock Jack and Ralphie have been pushing this. Like,
you should. Listen to Ralphie, listen to Stock Jock, buy Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair is badass. I keep going to, I'm doing my own walk and talks now and by walk and talk, I mean, I just go to the Brick every week to see if they mark down Dragon's Lair in store for $500 because then I figure out some way to justify it.
it's there. It's at the Brick.
Yeah, they've still got it. It's one of the cabs I really regret selling. That's still at retail. But I just, I mean, I can't drop $800 on it again. Kang Zeros, he has a Dragon's Lair, and he's saying that riser needs a riser for Dragon's Lair, 100%. The cab,
Plus,
it's not that the cab's too short. It's that the screen, because of the positioning with the alphanumeric, pushes it down. Yeah.
and B's got that topper too. Like, that's like, do you get the topper, B?
Did B get the topper? I don't know.
I think
B's got a new camera. Have you watched B's channel since he got his new camera?
Unbelievable.
It's like I'm right inside his house with him. It's like he's talking and I'm in the background having tea with Mrs. Kangzeros. It's incredible. Like B's his presentation has just gone through the roof. Stringer Films, $2 super chat. One-Up's greatest contribution was the virtual high five. I'll ask you this really quickly. So, people always say, Mike, where do you come up with the ideas for shows? I just come up with a title, and then we see where things go from there. I got about 10% of a plan on a best day. So another idea I had was if you had limited space and you could only have like a couple Arcade1Ups, which are the essential ones to get? This is what I'm dealing with now, where I have a much smaller arcade than I had before. I used to have room for 18. Now, because of the increased size of the XL, I've got 4 on one wall, and I've got room for 3 and 2 pinball machines on the other wall. And I thought about which Arcade1Up cabs were essential, not just aesthetically, but also nostalgically for me when I was in the arcades and stuff like that. So I'm a big 89 to 93 guy. So Mortal Kombat 2, Street Fighter, Terminator 2, and then Turtles is the other one. So Turtles is the one I'm missing. That's the one I really want to get. I got NBA Jam. I got Killer Instinct, and even though I'm a 89 to 93 guy, you got to have a Pac-Man.
You do.
you just do.
I mean, it's
yeah.
If you came across the Turtles in time, would you pick it up?
Depends on the price.
And can you fit another arcade in that room? Did I already ask you that? Like, in the studio right now, could you squeeze something on the side that we can't see?
Not in here. I'm gonna keep this one relatively clean because I've got an ALP 4K coming, and that's gonna eat up the rest of the room here. I got my iArcade so I can do the mod on it and check that out for a while. I'm not 100% sure I'll keep that, but still, I'm not looking to separate my Arcade1Ups from my arcade. I want that space downstairs to be my nostalgic space, my space where I go to play, like where it's like a real arcade. This is just my office multicade area.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Really quick, when you had Big Buck Hunter, it was in a different room than your regular arcade. Is that where everything is right now? Golden Tee at one point was with your Big Buck Hunter.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a pinball, like whatever room that was.
So
is that an option?
Yeah, it's a little hard to explain, and I know I got to go because P-Dubs is
Sorry,
already
P-Dubs.
started.
I keep asking.
Sorry,
questions.
P-Dubs. So what happened was, just to be clear about this, we had a second kid, and it started getting really hard about like where all the stuff was for the kids. Like my daughter's stuff was all over the place, my son's stuff was all over the place, and we needed like a playroom for the kids. So what I did was, I said, okay, we'll get rid of the living room, like the family room. We're just going to get rid of that and turn that into a space for the kids, for the playroom. So the family room, I took all my stuff out of the family room, all my modern consoles, my couch, all that stuff. And I said, I will turn the storage room downstairs into the new family room. So that's the room where you saw Buck Hunter, my pinball machine, all that stuff. That's the new family room, right? So that's where our movies are, all my modern consoles and shit like that. So then the storage room, unfortunately, had to go into the arcade. But then what I found out was most of the stuff I had in my storage room, about 50% of it, was just all these toys I had. So now I'm in the process of pulling the toys out and trying to rearrange things to get that 50% completely free so I can put my arcade back together in a smaller space in that 50%. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Yeah, it's really complicated. Like I always get people shitting on me. They were like, "What do you mean? Like I thought your arcade was your kid's playroom." And I was like, "No, sorry. I wasn't clear, obviously." Yeah. Anyways, Phil, I would keep you here all night, but guys, go watch P-Dubs. It's all happening on Multicade Mondays. It's Monday. Play your multicades. Go check out P-Dubs, and before you do, go check out PD7. Subscribe to this guy.
Thank
Really
you.
nice guy. He's keeping me enthusiastic. I'm watching his stuff, and it makes me very nostalgic and excited for Arcade1Up again. So, great member of the community, great positive person. Go check PD7 out.
Thank you. Thanks
Damn
for
it.
having me on, Mike.
Oh, you're welcome. Damn it, Kevin Clausen. Go watch P-Dubs now. Damn it, now. Anyways, guys, have a wonderful night. We'll see you again very soon. Hopefully, I actually get some time to make some videos this week. See you later, guys.
Hey, guys.
These restrictions of other people going, it's so tough.